welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today we will be looking at a Kamala Harris versus JD Vance hypothetical scenario, which is actually a very possible scenario since Kamala Harris is actually winning on most of the primary polls. So that's pretty nice for her, I guess. And so we're going to see the scenario and we're going to see who's going to win. We have the 2024 map here to give us kind of like an idea, and the polls too. So yeah, as you guys know, JD Vance is less popular than Donald Trump, and that's a fact at this point. So voters don't see JD Vance as such a popular and great figure as Donald Trump, which means that this election will be slightly closer. And as you can see, his JD Vance is unfavorable by 1.6 points, and Donald Trump, last time I checked, he's unfavorable by 1 point. So we're going to see this hypothetical scenario, and we're going to take a lot of polls into effect. Not actually a lot of polls, actually, never mind. We're going to take the 2024 map. It's kind of like an idea. Since Donald Trump and JD Vance have basically the same exact favorability. So it's gonna be a very similar election, just being a little bit more support for the Democrats because it's JD Vance is less favorable. Anyways, let's start. So safe states for Kamala Harris: that would be California, Oregon, Washington, Hawaii, Massachusetts, Vermont, Maine's first, Maryland, D.C., Delaware, Rhode Island, Connecticut. And these are like the obvious ones, but I'm also gonna include New York, Illinois. And yeah, that's basically it. So now for the Republicans. Oh yeah, by the way, I'm not including New Jersey. I usually would, but New Jersey has actually been was actually a surprise, a shocker, because the day that Trump was called, November 6th, it was actually a lean margin. Now it went a little bit up for Harris, but yeah, that was a very big shocker from the 15-point margin that it was. I expect Illinois to go back to the safe Democrat column, and same with New York. Those were also kind of surprise shockers, except for New York. New York, some people were already expecting. Now for the safe states for the Republicans will be basically all those central ones over here, these conservative central ones that have been with the Republicans for the end of time. So, yeah. I'm actually not going to include Nebraska's first district because it actually went likely on 2024. So we're going to leave it as there. And these are the safe states for the Republicans of 2028. JD Vance versus Kamala. And now we got the likely states for Kamala Harris will be Colorado, New Mexico, Minnesota. I'm actually putting Minnesota back in the likely column as it wasn't in the 2024 election. We're also going to get Virginia in there, New Jersey in there, not New Hampshire. We're going to have Maine at large and Nebraska's second district. And these are the likely states for the Democrats. Now the likely states for the Republicans will be including Texas, Florida. Texas was actually a shocker because Texas actually shifted more to the right than to the left, because as you can see, it was actually most of Texas actually shifts to the left every year, as you can see, like in 2012, like it started 2012, like Mitt Romney won Texas by 15 points. Then Trump in 2016 won Texas for 9 points, and then Trump in 2020 won Texas for 5 points, and then Trump in 2024 won with almost a solid margin, 13.7 points. And also Florida is still more competitive than Texas, which many people didn't expect. Florida was also a shocker. We did expect it to move to the right, but not by that much. So I expect these to almost like become solid, like maybe like 14.5 for both of these. They're very similar margins. Alaska, I expect it to be actually about 8 points. Iowa and Ohio. Ohio's actually solid because J.D. Vance was born there. It's his home state, so I expected him to have a little bit more strength. He used to be senator of Ohio. Main second is also likely. And then we got the battleground states, which are really gonna be the only states that are really gonna like very change. So we got let's start with the one that's the least battlegrounds of these. New Hampshire is going to Harris by about 4 points, and then we got I'm gonna actually put Arizona in the lean column. I know there are a lot of Hispanics there that could still keep it unlikely, but I think it's going to be a lean by about 3 to 4 points. Same with Nevada. I expect it to be a little bit like 1 to 2 points, like 2.5 in Nevada or something like that. And now we're gonna look at Georgia and North Carolina. So these states have been really popping up as competitive states in this election, as both of them are extremely competitive. Especially Biden actually won it, Georgia, and got North Carolina extremely close. And North Carolina could potentially be arguably the most competitive state in the union because North Carolina has the biggest streak of less than 4 point margins. In 2008, it was less than 4 points. In 2012, it was less than 4 points. In 2016, it was less than 4 points, barely. In 2020, it was less than 4 points, and even in 2024, this 2.2 margin in Georgia is also a very big warning sign for the Democrats, because the strongest candidate in the Republican side only bring to Georgia to a 2 point, only shifted Georgia to the right by 2 points. That can easily be picked up by a stronger candidate like Josh Shapiro. Now, do I think Kamala Harris will win Georgia? Well, we'll have to see because Georgia in the forecast is still a pure toss-up. So we'll skip over that. North Carolina, I expect that actually to be tilt. Yet again, these warning signs for the Democrats, for the Republicans. North Carolina has been a very big Republican stronghold in these recent years, but it's still very competitive and is actually trending left. It's actually trending left. So it might lean to the left in a couple years. So now we got the Rust Belt, which is the part that you gotta win. Now, of course, oh yeah, by the way, parentheses. These electoral votes are from 2020, 2024, so maybe the votes will change and then it will change the possibility of the election. But this is just a hypothetical scenario, okay? So, as of the moment, in Pennsylvania, I think that if, as of the moment, I had to pick, I would say J.D. Vance still wins the state by about 0.8, 0.7. It's a close margin. Yes, it's tilt. Same thing with Michigan. I also think Michigan will still go to the right this election, but it's a very, very close call and potentially a recount there. And Wisconsin is basically the only state that I think Harris is clear there. Harris can win it, which was a big surprise again. Like from all the Rust Belt states, Wisconsin was the most competitive, which is true in most election cycles. But it's usually the most right state in the Rust Belt in the Blue Wall. It's the state that is the most Republican out of the Blue Wall. As you can see, in 2016, it was the most Republican out of the Blue Wall. In 2012, it was also the most Republican, actually second most Republican out of the Blue Wall. But it was never like the most Democrat out of the Blue Wall. Almost never. So that was actually a big surprise. And Georgia I still don't know what to pick, but if I had to choose, I would still say Vance. But yeah, the suburbs around Georgia are a very big warning sign, because the suburbs around Georgia this election cycle actually shifted to the left. So as you can see over here, yeah, you see the suburbs around Atlanta County, the counties in Atlanta actually shifted to the left. even though Atlanta itself shifted to the right by barely 2 points. So yeah, that's my prediction for now. But if I had to pick, I would still say Georgia goes to Vance by about the same margin as it did in 2020. So yeah, this is my Kamala Harris versus JD Vance prediction. I actually still don't think Kamala Harris will win the. Actually, don't think Kamala Harris will even be the candidate because I don't think she has the strength anymore after the 2024 election. But she is winning in the primaries, I guess. Oops, I accidentally refreshed it. So yeah, that's my prediction for now. Hope you guys enjoy it. I'll see you next time. Ciao.